Hello everybody, this is SaberRex coming to you live with a brand new video, and today we are going to be taking a look at all 26 Ceratopsians for the Beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsians series by Creative Beast Studio and David Silva, and we are going to be comparing all of them to one another in regards to size, shape, and absolutely everything. So sit back, relax, and enjoy while I take you on a journey in regards to the many varied body plans and head shapes of the most amazing family of plant-eating dinosaurs that has ever existed. So without further ado, let's begin. So starting our look into the different Ceratopsians within the Beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsian series, let's start with the 1/6 scale figures. Now there are only two of them within the toy line itself, and those would be Psittacosaurus mongoliensis, which you see here, and Protoceratops andrewsi. But nevertheless, they are incredibly beautiful figures, and in regards to their scale, they would be about the same size as a baby of their species. For example, this Psittacosaurus would be about the same size as a hatchling Psittacosaurus, like they have found within the Yixian Formation. And yes, there are fossil specimens of baby Psittacosaurus, so we actually have a very good idea of what they looked like. Now, in regards to the figure's length, this is about 12 inches, or about 1/6 scale of an actual Psittacosaurus. It also has the color scheme of what we know Psittacosaurus to actually look like. They were this dark brown sort of color, with a pale underbelly and a dark mask of color around the eyes. But this is about 12 inches long, and it's a fairly sizable figure. It's about the same size as the Beasts of the Mesozoic raptors from the previous series, the dromaeosaurs. But yeah, fair enough size. And very nice for your shelf. Now, comparing it with its other 1/6 scale figure, the Protoceratops, if we move this over like so, now you can see them both together. Now, Protoceratops is about the same length as the Psittacosaurus, that is to say about 12 inches long, and he is a little bit taller at the head because, well, this is a fairly a much bigger animal in comparison to Psittacosaurus, just in regards to height. And just in overall build, it is a much heavier animal. But as you can see, if we put them face on like this, yeah, you can really see the difference, and if this stand was out of the way, you could really see that much better. Generally, Psittacosaurus would be a bit shorter in height than Protoceratops would be in real life. But yeah, absolutely stunning figures. Now, these two figures are very large compared to the other Ceratopsians, which are 1/18 scale, but we will have a couple of 1/18 scale figures of both of these dinosaurs in the toy line, as well as the raptors themselves, specifically things like Linhairaptor, Velociraptor, and Dromaeosaurus. But we'll get to those when they actually come out. But yeah, we will be getting two species of Protoceratops as well. Protoceratops andrewsi, which you see here, and Protoceratops helenicorhinus, which is a very unusual and much more elaborate frilled species of Protoceratops. It is actually, I wouldn't say it's a bit larger, but it is, its frill is somewhat differently shaped and a bit more pointed, but nevertheless it's going to be a very, very beautiful figure. There's going to be lots of green in that one. But yeah, definitely one I'm going to be getting, along with the smaller 1/18 scale Protoceratops androsi when they actually come out. But let's move on to the 1/18 scale figures, and then we'll do a comparison side by side of the 1/18 scale to the 1/6 scale at the end of this video, and we'll really show you the differences. Alright. So here we have the first of the 1/18 scale ceratopsians for the line. And this is Zuniceratops christophori. And yeah, it is absolutely the smallest of the bunch. This is a 6-inch figure, much, much smaller than any of the rest, but this is, again, 1/18 scale for this particular dinosaur. Zuniceratops in real life was about the size of a cow, so not a very big ceratopsian in regards to just what you think of generally, like Triceratops and Torosaurus, but still a pretty sizable animal. And there were other ceratopsians that were of similar size, but yeah, many of the ones within the toy line, well, actually, I should say all the other ceratopsians within the toy line are much larger than it. But there are some within the toy line itself that are fairly close. So let's compare some of these figures to it, starting with the 10-inch figures within waves 1 and 2. So here we have our first 10-inch figure, Nasutoceratops. Nasutoceratops is absolutely, one of my favorites. And of course his head pops off because it's on a ball joint. And thankfully it just... yeah. Thankfully, these figures are easy to reassemble if something like this happens. I actually have this happen a lot with the Avaceratops, which I will show you in a minute. But yeah, here is Nasutoceratops for size comparison. It is one of the 10-inch figures, and as you can see, it is comparably larger than Zuniceratops if you look at them from the side. Not by much, but enough, and it's definitely taller. But yeah, absolutely one of the more interesting ceratopsians. And again, these are 1/18 scale, so these are quite accurate in size in regards to each other. So let's move these in like so and showcase another. This time, Avaceratops himself. So here is our beautiful Avaceratops. And Avaceratops is the other one I just said. His head likes to pop off of its ball joint a lot when I play with this figure. Yeah, so I gotta be very careful with him. But Avaceratops and Nasutoceratops are same size figures. They are about 10 inches long. And yeah, again, compared to Zuniceratops, yeah, they are quite large compared to it. But yeah, these two, Nasutoceratops and Avaceratops, they are actually part of the tribe Nasutoceratopsini, so they are actually each other's closest relatives, which is one of the main reasons I decided to show them both in comparison to each other. and in regards to the Zuniceratops. Now, they also like to fall down a bit. So, compared in size, you can see the difference there. Yeah, they are. Yeah, they are so much larger than Zuniceratops. It is incredible. The same is also true of ceratopsians like Ionosaurus, whom you see here. Now, he is also a fairly small ceratopsian, and compared to some of the other ones, but as far as it goes in real life, this is a fairly large animal. So, like, maybe a ton, 2 tons in weight. But yeah, still quite large. Yeah, but definitely one of the smaller figures in regards to the Wave 1 and 2. Like 10 inches, honestly. The same is also true for the much more elaborate Diabloceratops. And if we put them together like so, you can see just what kind of size they have in comparison to one another. They are very very large. In fact, if I position him a little differently, you can see, yeah, they are roughly about the same size, but Diabloceratops definitely has the larger horns, especially in regards to the height on the frill horns. But yeah, 2 more 10-inch figures down. Here's a couple others. This time, sister relatives, Cosmoceratops and Spiclypeus. So here's Spiclypeus, here's Cosmoceratops. And as you can see, they are, despite being 10 to 11 inch figures, they are still much larger than Zuniceratops. Yeah. And yeah, again, sister relations, basically. They're each other's closest relatives. The same is also true comparison-wise for the glorious Chasmosaurus. Now, Chasmosaurus is also a close relative of Spiclypeus and Cosmoceratops, but as you can see, he has got the bigger frill. And if I position him like so, with his head straight on, you can see that perfectly clear. Of these figures, Chasmosaurus is definitely the tallest in regards to just his frill size. And I know I don't have these standing straight up with their legs directly underneath their body, like in just a general static standing pose, but you can clearly see the difference. Chasmosaurus is so much larger in regards to height, just because of that elaborate frill. And taking Spiclypeus away, let's also showcase that with one of the larger figures, or rather larger, more robust ceratopsians, just in regards to its size. Here we have Regaliceratops in comparison, and as you can see, he is much thicker than either the Chasmosaurus or the Zuniceratops. Yeah, if we put them back in front position, you can see he is just so much thicker. Chasmosaurus is like this. And Regaliceratops is like this. Just incredibly heavily built ceratopsian. It is definitely one of the larger of the Wave 2s. This is basically a 12-inch figure, but this is a 10-inch. And likewise, we have two other 12-inch figures here that we will compare as well. The juvenile Centrosaurus and the monoclonius variant of the juvenile Centrosaurus. This is a Kickstarter exclusive, by the way. I was very, very lucky to get this because I pre-ordered it when the Kickstarter campaign for the Beasts of the Mesozoic took off in regards to the Ceratopsian series. So, unless there's a spare that David Silva happens to have in storage, you can't get these. They are that rare. But yeah, you can see these are 10-inch figures. This is a 12-inch. This is a 6-inch. Yeah, and if you think these are, if you think these are fairly small as a result of this, wait until you see the adult Centrosaurus. We will do a size comparison with the adult Centrosaurus and the juveniles together in a few minutes. So, stay tuned. So taking this fellow away, let's take a look at the subadult Triceratops, which is also an 11 to 12-inch figure, or close to it, I should say. It is very, very large and very, very thick. It's same body as the Regaloceratops, but yeah, you can see if I was to put them side to side, like so, if these ones won't stop falling over, you can see there's quite a bit of difference in regards to size. But yeah, definitely one of the larger ones. And it is still very, very tiny if you compare it to the big one, the adult Triceratops. But taking the adult Triceratops away, and both Centrosaurus for now. Now I shall show you the size comparison between Zuniceratops and some of the larger Wave 1 and 2 figures, such as this glorious Mesozoic. And as you can see, Mesozoic is a 12 to 14-inch figure. It is quite large. And yeah, you can absolutely see just how tiny Zuniceratops is compared to this. Likewise, Styracosaurus, Styracosaurus is absolutely about the same size. And he definitely has the taller frill than, or rather, taller frill spikes than Mesozoic. So he is quite large. Yeah. But compare this to, say, the Regaloceratops, which is another larger Wave 2 figure. Yeah, you can see, absolutely, the larger Wave 1 and Wave 2 figures are absolutely gigantic. And now, as an extra comparison, let's bring in Wendyceratops. So there we have Wendyceratops alongside Mesozoic, Styracosaurus, and Zuniceratops. Absolutely huge. Yeah, there's just so much design variation between them. And again, right at the moment, because of his frill spikes, yeah, Styracosaurus is definitely the tallest of the bunch. But not of the entire line, as you're about to see with the larger Wave 2 figures. And we're going to start that off with Wendyceratops' largest cousin, the gigantic Wave 3 Albertoceratops. And we'll just reposition this so you can get the full measure of his size. I mean, look at this. This is huge. I mean, yeah, Albertoceratops is no joke. This is a 16-inch figure. Yeah, this is basically a 16-inch figure. Absolutely huge. Yeah, 14 to 16-inch figure. And monster in regards to just size and build. And if we just reposition them like so, like that, you can see little, big, well, little, medium, big. And if we throw in another one, like the Chasmosaurus, as an extra comparison, yeah, you can see just how big a size difference there is between all the figures of the line. And that's not even the biggest one. So, let's keep moving on. I'll bring back the Monoclonius rather than the Centrosaurus. And now we'll showcase Zuniceratops. As you can see, he is also equally a gigantic. So there you have it. Yeah, look at the size between. Look at the size difference. It's absolutely momentous. And if you think that's crazy, check out the Wave 2 Centrosaurus in comparison. This is on par with the other two figures I showed previously, which were Wave 3, and this is the adult Centrosaurus. This is the juvenile Centrosaurus. And taking the Medusaceratops away real quick. Where'd he go? Oh, there he is. There you have it. Yeah, so absolutely monstrous figure. And putting this guy back, let's move on to the Pachyrhinosaurus. So there's our Pachyrhinosaurus. Compare him to all four of these. And as you can see, he is absolutely gigantic. Like, literally one of the largest and tallest of the figures. But he's not even the biggest ones. And there are other Wave 3 figures that are even larger. And we'll showcase them all in a minute. So, yeah, moving on. Now we have the Utah Ceratops. Another 14-inch figure. Yeah, this guy is absolutely huge too. Just titanic. And he is definitely one of the taller of the Wave 3 Ceratopsians. But compared to that, Pentaceratops, that is to say, one of the major big boys, he is actually so tall, no matter how big he is, he puts all the others to shame. I mean, look at how tall his head is compared to the rest. That's gigantic. I have to move the camera just to show how big he actually is. And if you think that's crazy, yeah, if that's crazy to you, check out Sinoceratops. Sinoceratops may not have the gigantic head frill, but he also likewise has the incredible size of the Sinoceratops. This is another 16-inch figure that is just absolutely gigantic. I mean, really. This is such a huge figure. And then finally, we have the monsters. Torosaurus, which I shall just have to show you this way by panning the camera around. And then finally, the adult Triceratops. And if you want an even more incredible array of size, yeah, here's Sinoceratops for comparison. So here you have it from biggest to smallest. That is how large these Ceratopsians are within the toy line, and these are all 1/18 scale. So here you have an 18-inch figure, a 16-inch figure, a 14-inch figure, a 12-inch figure, or rather a 12 to 14-inch, 10 to 12-inch, and finally little 6-inch Zuniceratops. That's how big they are. That's how big they are compared to one another. And now finally, let's compare the Wave 3 figures and then showcase the scale of the 1/6 scale figures to these Wave 3 figures and more. So, starting off with our comparison of all the giants within the beasts of the Mesozoic Ceratopsians, let's compare the adult Triceratops to the Torosaurus. So here they are, the two biggest of the bunch, and while there is not much size difference between them, honestly, Triceratops is technically the biggest of the bunch. He may not have the larger head, but he is definitely the longer of them. This is definitely the longest. Yeah, Torosaurus is no small fry, but he is tiny compared to Triceratops, even just by a small amount. Next, we have Sinoceratops in comparison, again. Compared to him, Pentaceratops is definitely taller than Triceratops is at the frill, but at the shoulder, Triceratops definitely has the advantage on Pentaceratops. Pentaceratops has the bigger head, but he is by no means the largest. Next, let's bring in Zuniceratops for a comparison. Again, you can see the real size difference between them. Triceratops is an absolute monster, and so is Torosaurus. I mean, come on. absolutely, absolutely gigantic. Here is Ceratops alongside Triceratops himself. Centrosaurus. Again, majorly huge animal. And the Centrosaurus is actually more like 1/13th scale or 1/15th scale than actually 1/18th scale. But here is Ceratops compared to the adult Triceratops. Yeah, again, just absolutely monstrous figure. And then a Pachyrhinosaurus. Yeah, you can see just how big they actually are. And again, I'm going to just showcase right next to him just how little Zuniceratops is compared to his larger cousin. This is a very small ceratopsian compared to Triceratops. And this is all 1/18th scale. This would be a 30-foot Triceratops. That's a full-grown Zuniceratops right there, if these animals were the appropriate size. They are that... The scale between them is that accurate. And, just to showcase, between the subadult and the adult, as I have before in a previous review, there is the subadult Triceratops with its parent, and you can see it is absolutely gigantic compared to the subadult. Just incredible. Now, comparing these both with the 1/6 scale figures, this Psittacosaurus has a little bit of balance issues, but it's not a big deal. Not that big a deal anyway. But yeah, Psittacosaurus is quite large compared to these other ones, just because it is a 1/6 scale and these two are 1/18th scale. But you can see absolutely in regards to the toy line, Psittacosaurus is no pushover in regards to size for the toy. And comparing Protoceratops between them, again, if I take Triceratops away, well, the younger Triceratops away, you can see it stacks up pretty well against the adult Triceratops. This is not a small figure. It's really not. But, yeah, comparing it to another, like the Styracosaurus, you can see just how big the Protoceratops is compared to the rest of the line for a 1/6 scale figure against a 1/18th scale figure. So, that's a pretty good size estimate between them. But yeah, that is all 26 Ceratopsians, and I am absolutely thrilled to have been able to collect them all. This has been a dream of mine, to get these incredibly accurate, superposable dinosaur action figures for so many years. I have wanted this basically since I was a little boy, and now at last the world finally has them. These are the figures that everybody deserves, and if you can only afford to get the small ones or the less expensive ones, I'd say go for it, because even if it takes even a small bite out of your wallet, if you want these figures and you can afford them, they are well worth it, because not only can you utilize has these figures for display, but you can actually play with them a bit so long as you're careful, and as long as you treat them with the appropriate respect these toys deserve. There is no limit to what you can do with your imagination. I mean, I personally love to use these for stop motion. So, yeah, I am definitely going to be doing a lot of animation with them. And the best part is, these toys are built for that. And they're much better for it than the Raptors. I mean, if you can do it right, you can do it with the Raptors too. But at the same time, these are much better suited to stop motion animation than the Raptors are. So, well worth your time to work with these if you are into that sort of thing. But yeah. So this is Saber Rex signing off. Until next time, I'm saying you're never too old to play with toys. Be a toy nerd. Be proud of it. And thank you, and have a good day. Please don't be afraid to hit the like, subscribe, and comment buttons. And see you later.